And it's almost on. Give it 1 second. Great to have you all here tonight. Uh, 1 second, it's almost on. There we go. Now we're on YouTube. Got it. And Maya, can you just keep letting people in? Great to have all of y'all here. Yeah, this is interesting. Y'all know we've been here for since Sunday night. A lot of different sessions in some different areas. This might be our this might be our first money one, really, that we've had that's specifically kind of tuned into financing and stuff. And I got to tell you this, that I just met Zaria through a friend, and all of these networks just kind of keep moving around. And I have never met someone who has made so many significant networking relationships just by putting in a little email, but strategic ones that make sense. And so Zaria, it's not like you're giving out business cards. Oh, you should do this, you should do. She literally writes an email, connects two people, but she's got a very keen eye on who needs to meet who needs to meet who. And that's why we're here tonight. Want to welcome everybody. Just know, keep an open mind for this stuff. Hey, would you mind putting where you're from in the chat? We're kind of doing something fun with that. This is the National Black AI Literacy Week, and we'll have 1, 2, 3 more days after this one. Zaria, it is great to have you with Next Cube, right? All
Yeah.
right. Well, I want you to tell us first a little bit about who you are and why you're behind this, because you have a passion. I mean, we knew it from when we first met. You really got a passion for this, and you do it well. We were talking about an AI thing with HBCU, and you said, "Oh, that's me. That's me right there." So, tell us who you are and what you're doing right now.
Yes, happy to. So, good evening or good afternoon for anybody on the West Coast. My name is Zaria Smith. I am a proud A&T alum coming from North Carolina, currently living in Washington, D.C. here. So, if we have any HBCU alums or Aggies in here, Aggie Pride, and any HBCUs, I would love to see anybody on camera. I love to see faces. I want this to be as interactive as possible. But yeah, just a little background about me. So originally from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, graduated with a speech pathology, audiology degree. As we see, the title of this is talking about money. So we have completely done a 180 with my career. And I have done many pivots so far. Needs to say I'm very, very early in my career. I'm very, only 3 years out of college, but we've been doing a lot of interesting things in the small amount of time. So like I said, graduate from North Carolina A&T with a speech pathology audiology degree. COVID kind of skewed my mindset, so I ended up going into the tech era, kind of had to pivot into the digital era and got my machine learning solutions architect and cloud certification and ended up obtaining an internship with Amazon Web Services. So got into there, ended up getting a full time, which was by the grace because again, I did not come from a tech background, but the recruiter who spoke to me, I told her, if you just train me properly and I'm a sponge, I can execute for you. So that's a skill that I feel like I really enjoy having, is being able to be adaptable and shapeable when it comes to my career. And ended up going more into cloud consulting with startups. And, I'm not really an enterprise girl. They're a little cutthroat for me. And coming from a medical background and studies, I find myself very empathetic and very personable. And I really enjoy being able to speak with, hold on, I see somebody with a pink and green blanket up in there. Oh, also shout out to my sorors who out here of Alpha Kappa Sorority Incorporated. Okay, that also there too. So, but going through that, and I'm like, I really want to do startups. And I end up working with early stage startups. I've been on the tech side of things, and then end up getting promoted to Series B. And I'm like, I need a target. I don't have a target. I kind of felt like I was just walking and just good at what I was doing as an account manager working with startups, but I didn't have a target. I was just working with all kinds of startups. So one thing about AWS that is phenomenal is that there's an underrepresented founders team. And I have a strong belief in cross collaborations. I didn't want to minimize myself into just being a part of the sales and consulting tech side. So I reached out to Charlotte Newman, who is the global head of the underrepresented startups team at AWS. And I kind of wrote her like, hey, I need something. Like you all are doing these amazing impact programs, accelerator programs, and we had this gap between the tech team and the underrepresented founders startup team when a lot of our customers and clients that we were working with were in all of these different impact programs and accelerator programs. So to fast forward, I end up being able to work with Charlotte Newman, Tiffany Johnson, and Lily Zhu with putting together the first HBCU Sub-Saharan Accelerator Program with Harvard. I have a passion of putting people who look like myself into spaces that feel like they're a little bit untangible, but there's nothing untangible, in my opinion, if you create spaces and opportunities for our people. So
Mhm.
we were funded by the Schultz Foundation, and we piloted the program called Next Gen. I named it. And we took 15 students here in the United
Wait,
States
you
at
didn't tell me that part that you named it. Okay.
yes, I named it. And that was my baby, I put it together.
Okay. All
So
right.
named it Next Gen. We took 15 students here from HBCUs in the United States, and then we flew 15 students from different areas of Africa. And we had them at Harvard Business School at the iLabs, which is a startup resource center there in the Harvard Business School campus. So they were there for 3 weeks. We took them through an intensive curriculum that me and the team put together and put them in front of investors, angel investors, CEOs, big corporate VPs. And it's like, this is what it's about, creating these spaces for us
Mhm.
to continue to scale and go wide.
Mhm.
So after that, I'm like, oh, I'm high ready. I'm ready to move to this team.
Right.
Nope. Amazon had hiring freeze. So I
Mhm.
end up doing Women's Demo Day, the first inaugural Women's Demo Day here in Washington, D.C. We had up to 120 people. If anybody finds me on LinkedIn, there's like a post about that. But
Can I ask, what was your involvement in that, in demo day?
I was the program lead.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
me and my 7 women who I worked with, it was phenomenal. We took a ton of we had 6 founders. And I made sure I wanted every woman of color and just women up there in general to feel represented.
Mhm.
So we had a bunch of investors in the room and stakeholders, potential customers, potential headcount. And then after that, my CEO, Marlon Evans, who is the CEO of NextCubed, where I currently work now, and he offered me a program director role, and I'm over 2 funds. So we actually have an underrepresented founders fund that we're currently working on. TBD on the big dollar sign on that, but currently I'm over a 40 million fund for HBCU founders. If you graduated from HBCU, or if you're a faculty, or if anybody from your team is an HBCU alum, I invest in all of those in the tech side. So that's a little bit about me. I hope that wasn't too long,
No,
but
no,
yeah.
that's amazing. So, somebody said in the chat, your energy definitely comes through for sure. So, when you talk like AWS, Amazon, what kind of money is a place like that putting out there to help people that look like us?
Yes. So, speaking on the startup side, and I feel like one thing that just in general we lack is, where are the resources? Where are the jobs? Where is the capital? And one thing I really appreciated about Amazon Web Services is that there's people like Tiffany Johnson and Charlotte who created spaces. So if anyone's familiar with the Black Business Accelerator, it was a 500 million accelerator and just business venture that Amazon curated together, that Tiffany mapped out herself because she is also a Black founder. She's from Ghana. And a lot of Black businesses go through this accelerator and get funded and put on the market, and really teaches you how to build your business on the back end before you find yourself with venture capital firms or angel investors, hedge funds, family funds, investment banks, just all of the different sources where you will start looking for money that looks like equity.
Hmm.
And then, when you think of Microsoft and Google, they all have these startup segment areas. And a lot of us don't know that. It's kind of, if you know, if you know somebody who's a part of it. But it
Yeah.
needs to be a more tangible pipeline for us to realize that there's revenue in these big corporate companies
Yeah.
who want to finance or continue to help build the business acumen behind Black founders.
So in our first conversation, you were telling me that it's resources out there. Sometimes we just don't know where there are. And then previous to this conversation, you were saying that businesses sort of need to know who they are, at what stage they're at, to know what to ask. So you're very good at identifying the particular pieces that fit together. So if your business isn't there, you can't ask for this thing over here. So talk a little bit about that because people here are in various stages in their business and their ability to ask for money at different stages.
Right. So again, Next Cubed is a startup itself, but we invest in seed, pre-seed, and Series A. I know a little bit about Series B on the tech side, but the
Can
more
you
I go,
explain all three of those? Because there might be people who don't know pre-seed, pre-seed, and Series A. A little
okay,
definition of each.
well, there's different numbers in how people identify these things, but when you think of pre-seed, you think of bootstraps. So family and friends, there's no institutional funding, there's no angel investors, there's no VCs, there's no family involved, there's family fund involved. You're just really thinking about you're raising your own money, it's family and friends, you move forward. When you're also in pre-seed in these seed stages, it's still considered bootstrap, but it's not in a space where you have also kissed institutional funding. So for a little background, Next Cubed, we are a venture capital firm. And I also use ChatGPT because I know I can spitball of what VC means to me. But when we looked at ChatGPT, it said VCs are a form of equity, private equity provided by venture capital firms or individual investors for early stage, high potential, and high risk startup companies. And these investments are typically made in exchange for equity ownership and stake in companies that they invest in.
Mhm.
So, a little bit about that is my biggest advice when it comes to founders before they go into these angel investments and private equity firms and venture capital companies. You want to be able to really secure your family and friends, but what we consider bootstrap pre-seed, which is non-dilutive capital. Now, a little bit about non-dilutive capital is the capital that you receive without the contract exchange of equity, and it's full ownership of your businesses. And there's a ton of resources out there that will give you grants. And you have grants, you have debt financing, revenue-based financing, license agreements, and strategic partnerships. And those are the funds that I always beg founders to go for before they find themselves in a contract or giving up ownership of their business.
Hmm. That's really good. So, you went over those five really fast, but you basically want to see us think of those type of things before we start giving away, hey, I got this really good idea. I'll give you 5% of my company kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you want us to own our stuff if we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ownership is your biggest blessing, in my opinion. I've seen founders own so much of their business that by the time that they actually bring an investor, as far as like an angel or a VC, they're already looking for an exit. And when they exit, a lot of people only maybe have like 8% or 10% of the company.
Yeah.
Yes, ownership is key. So the more that you can find non-dilutive capital is, in my opinion, your biggest win. Because when you make an exit and someone else has ownership, you're still getting a lot of that fund that you built with your own business.
Does that kind of tell you that we've been working hard? If you see that we have non-dilutive funds, capital that's in there, is it a signal to somebody like you that, oh, they've been doing something, they've been working, and they kept their ownership in the company?
Yes. So one big thing I feel that a lot of people who I see raise millions on their own before they find themselves in front of an angel or a venture capital firm or any accelerator or incubator is that they know their product, they know their business. And sometimes, unfortunately, in the underrepresented founders community, we have these great ideas, but we never know where to start. We don't think of who is our target audience? What is the market that we're going against? Because your market is where a lot of these angel investors, venture capital firms, and people who believe in you and want to write those checks to you think, well, you're going up against this market. Where do you fit in? And are you able to be ventured back? Or as an angel investor, if I put equity into you, can I introduce you to these kinds of people? So I just shared with Stefan, I just signed my first safe agreement. And I am now an angel investor, but I'm learning that I have to continue, thank you, that I have to continue to be an advisor. I've put my personal money into this founder and because I believe so much in them. But now I have to continue to make sure they're making the right choices of who else is putting money in there. If you're going to have advisors, who's going to continue to build you up? What is the market constantly looking like? Who can I get you beside? What are the different syndicates that we have to keep you in the loop? And how much money can we continue to raise without having to take so much percentage away from you? And
Hmm.
a lot of us, and I say us as in Black founders, we think just because the money is high, we don't look at the percentage. So like I shared with Stefan earlier, that for example, say if my VC wants to give 150,000 into your company, but we're going to continue to have follow-up and give you a ton of resources and advisory. And the more you grow is the more that we're going to continue to try to put in as much capital. We're not just getting in this one lump sum of capital, but yes, you've given us maybe 4% of your company, right? Not high. But you get someone who's given maybe 500,000, not too far off from 150, but they say, I want 10%.
Hmm.
You're kind of like, oh, because they gave more money, I have to give them this amount. But it's not true because is the advisory going to continue? You don't want too many hands in the pot. And that's how a lot of VCs and angel investors make decisions on behalf of where they put their money. Because if there are so many investors and VCs within the company, it's kind of like your money doesn't really have an equal opportunity. So say if I put in 10,000, my 10,000 is not going to get much equity back because there's so many hands putting 10,000 in. So you
Hmm.
go for the businesses and you be the business that has more ownership over your business.
Hmm. Hmm. So do you think some people go for a bunch of money up front from investors because they just need money or want money fast, and they're just giving away equity because they're looking at the money and not necessarily the long-term part?
So the real feedback for me when it comes to business owners, one realizing revenue is that market space. Where is your business model? You're asking for money or not even asking because you can ask and a VC can say no, a family fund can say no, a private equity, it doesn't, anyone can say no. But if you have the customers and you have the revenue that's coming in and you have the monetization of funds, sometimes you don't even have to go after these VCs because your business is making the revenue. So a
Mhm.
lot of times I love meeting founders who already have their revenue model figured out because the only reason that they're coming for a VC is that it is smart to have some equity and have someone back you up. And you always want to have a network of individuals who are going to continue to introduce you to more and more founders. Because my biggest thing that I really love doing and being in this space is that, yes, I'm an investor and we are investing and I'm with a firm, but founders love to connect with one another. And being a part of a VC or an accelerator and having angel investors, you're always going to have advisement. You're always going to have a hand to bring you somewhere else. And you always want a sponsorship for someone to bring up your business when you're not in the room. And
Hmm.
you
That's
never
good.
know, a lot of people are going to continuously pour money into your business. Like today, we had an interview with the young lady, love her business. She already has me as a customer. And I'm thinking like I would love to kind of work part-time with her because she needs somebody in her AI space.
Yeah.
And so you never know who you're around in the revenue that you can generate off of just having the conversation in the network.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you actually do really well is you get to know a lot of different networks and you get to match people with funds. Hey, really quick, what's hot right now? What's like hot? Listen, you and me had a conversation, and you were telling me we got to get outside of just haircut things. Not that anything's wrong with that in barbershops, but I know you don't want me to say that. But you were talking about this stuff out there we got to be learning, and I know people in here already believe it because we're part of AI. So,
Yes.
what are some of the things you want to see us in and that are investable or something, if that's a word?
Yes. So right now, a lot of investors are really looking for SaaS products. And where we lack just in our community is we love products. You know, we love hair care, we love clothing brands, we love sunglasses, we love skincare, but there's so much technology out here that we could be getting paid for to close these wealth gaps, in my opinion. Again, this is coming from my opinion, but this is also statistics where there's so much knowledge when it comes to SaaS products in the way we can use AI to build our businesses. And a lot of companies are looking for digital health. They're looking for fintech. They're looking for quantum tech.
Mm.
They're looking for educational technology. And there's so many different verticals and avenues that we haven't even scratched yet. And that's where a lot of the capital is going because they want to see a ton of SaaS products. So,
Mm.
for example, I was just telling Stefan, which I'm happy to share, and the link is called sba.gov, but there's so much capital from the DoD right now that's non-dilutive capital where there's no equity exchange, but they're looking for ventures to problem solve for them so they can
Mm.
be able to adopt their services
Mm.
and you consistently get paid off of an idea that you had. But
Okay,
most
right there. Oh, no, okay. Now, listen, that's incredible because we know it's a bunch of money up there. So think outside of the idea that you had told me, that had to do with veterans. Let's say somebody here hears that and thinks, man, I got ideas. Can you give us an idea of like where the DoD could be looking for ideas that they want to invest in? And let's say people here might think, man, I think I can help do that with AI.
Yes. So, for example, we know that mental health is a very important topic. And I've seen people try to create a very well thought out AI product that can maybe help people who are in the service or maybe help the government be a lot faster when it comes to payment or just any kind of things to help the government on the defense side. But one thing I really do like about the Department of Defense and just the SBA.gov is that they don't look for you, you go to them. Because it's like if you have a product, you
Hmm.
sign up, you put in your information, and then wherever that goes moving forward, that's where that capital comes in and they will continue to want to work with you. Because
Hmm.
one thing I've learned is that the government actually does not like to solve their own problems. They like to give capital to people who can solve the problems.
That's good to know. That's good. Somebody, and I'm glad somebody put that in the chat is sba.gov. And thank you, Maya. You put grants.gov. Okay, this is really great. And you all, while we're going, just put some questions you might have.
Oh, yes, I see. Someone
Yeah,
said, how easy is it to use AI for grant writing? So,
they
some different tools, I know everybody loves Chat GPT, and I know there's Black Chat GPT. AWS also has a very awesome AI writing system that's called Anthropic, but they also have Claude, which in my opinion is a little bit more
it's the best.
diverse
Yeah.
and it's a lot more strategic. So usually with Chat GPT, you have to consistently repeat yourself and say, oh, write this in this kind of way or write this in that kind of way. But if you're very detailed and say, hey, I have a business that we are helping people who are suffering silently with mental health issues. And we want to be able to give them a platform to where if they don't want to talk to a person, they can talk to an AI generated platform that makes it feel personable. So they're able to keep things to themselves that might can align with their doctors and their doctors can kind of keep up with where their mental is if they need to have like follow-ups, say if you want to write that out, you put that in the Chat GPT and it will not Chat GPT, but you can put that in Claude or Chat GPT or Pi, and it will give you the whole revenue. It'll give you a whole revenue model. It'll tell you how you'll be able to generate funds. It will tell you where to start from beginning to end and the people to look for in your target audience. Because the
Mm.
internet has the numbers, but my biggest advice is to go out and survey, see what people want. The most successful businesses are businesses that actually have a target and a community that they're going for.
That's good. That's good. That was a good question. And I'm really, by the way, everybody, I use Claude more than anything else. It's Claude.ai. I put it down there. It is really a great writer because great language because Anthropic puts so much into safety. They're like all about let's keep your stuff safe and they put it out there like that. But they're just very good writers. Very good writers, very good with information. Anybody else put something in the chat? Uh,
No, but I also do just to double click on that. So I have to find the link, but I met a founder, $1 million business, and you all probably seen them in Target, but they've created knives and utensils that help the community of people who have arthritis in their hands.
oh, wow.
And some people, if you would have looked at it, you would have been like, why would somebody create utensils that look so funny shaped? Like, this isn't going to sell. This is no, because it's for a target. And there's so many people in the world who have arthritis or different kind of disabilities. So guess what? People who are going through those kind of impairments, they have something that makes them more comfortable in their life easier.
That's
So
amazing.
in my opinion, and something that I love seeing is problem solving ventures. And they utilize tech as well. I know that right now that they're currently working on an app just to kind of get a better understanding of, how they're doing, it's so amazing, but always having a target audience to cater to, because those are going to be the people who generate. And sometimes you have to go in, like, everything is not always about generating revenue in the beginning. It's about solving the actual problem.
I
So
like it.
ventures can come to you and say, okay, why was this a problem to you? Because I love storytelling.
Hmm.
I love talking to founders who are passionate about their venture of why they done it. Because
Yeah.
most ventures are made upon problems that they had that they just wanted to solve.
This is really good. I think then you got the passion. Because if you're just trying to, oh, let me see what I can do to make money, that's one thing. But if you have a passion for something and you're solving a problem, by the way, I just put that in here. I said knife for arthritic hands, and Prime comes up. Amazon Prime, it's all over. Everybody's got something now. I got what you're saying about a problem.
So that's a little bit. I know we have some more time. I really want to make this as interactive. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, this. Did you want to talk about your own fund and about your what y'all have
Oh,
right now?
yes, I would love to. So, what was it, Stefan, if you don't mind putting the link in the chat as well. So I am the program director slash investor at Next Cubed Venture Capital Fund. Our parent company is called Maryland, who invests in more Series B and so on startup companies. But Next Cubed is a startup. They're still a baby. They've been around for 10 years, and I'm actually starting the third cohort. I've been here for 4 months now. So I've transitioned into venture capital, still going through my huge learning curve. But I'm so passionate about putting us in these spaces and creating opportunities, creating paths, because when we put ourselves in the forefront, that's when we can move further along with our peers, because our peers already have the resources and the details, and it's kind of like the only thing we lack is the communication and the resources. And want to be a catalyst and a pipeline continuously, knowing that there's capital, knowing that businesses can go wide. And there's more VCs other than myself and accelerators and funds and syndicates that I'm happy to make introductions to if you have a business moving forward. But back to what Next Cubed is. So we invest in HBCU founders or faculty, or if you have someone who is on your team in your business who went to an HBCU or faculty, we invest in you up to, not up to, but we invest 120,000 a founder. And each cohort, we have up to 6 to 10 founders each cohort. We take them through a 16 through 18 week constructive accelerator. So you're in front of a ton of investors, but we're also preparing you of how to go wide with your venture. So the 120,000 is super important that we give, and we're 9 times out of 10 a founder's first institutional funding. And sometimes we're not, we might meet them in the middle, but an accelerator program is to gain network, advisory, mentorship, because a lot of founders are still understanding what their market is, how to go to market, how to consistently build your MVP. And my biggest goal and how I measure success with my founders and moving forward is, after you go through me and my team's accelerator, you need to go get in front of an angel investor. You need to go in front of a Series B investor, because we want to make sure you are poised and ready and you feel as confident as possible with your venture after us, because 18 weeks is a long time.
Mhm.
And 120,000 goes far for a small startup. So we're making sure that we're very strategic. Just a little bit of background with something I have very that I have planned, and I'm very excited. We have now partnered with Northwestern because I have a financial advisor, and I was telling him that I've seen a lot of underrepresented founders ventures go down because they received capital but they didn't know what to do with it, or they did not use it properly. And it's like the worst thing that you have or seen is when you've obtained hundreds and thousands of dollars and somehow it's gone, or maybe it didn't scale how you wanted it with your business. So within our accelerator program, we're going to have capital advisement partnered with Northwestern because we need to understand how to budget when it comes to our business. We receive thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. We need to know, is it going to go into our go-to-market strategy? Is it going into our tech? Is it going into hiring? Where do these things go, and how do we monetize and diversify the capital that's given? But again, these are all resources that we have to get intangible with because we have founders like ourselves who do not know that you need better advisement with capital. You're just kind of a startup, like I'm going to put money here and there, and then it's not going anywhere like you need it. And your biggest thing you want to do is scale.
And you're staying with them during this whole time. So their success, your success is their success. They're kind of tied
Yes.
to
Yes, they are
that
stuck
look like,
with me. They are
yeah.
they are stuck with me. They have advisors. I was able to come in near the end of the cohort two that was with the contracted director before me, and I was able to see the demo day. And it's like everyone, you see a ton of women of color, and you see just all of the because again, HBCU is not just African Americans. There's people who go to HBCUs who are other, people of color. Something I like to say is the global majority.
Mm.
So you see every one of these kind of underrepresented founders, and it's like you want to just love on them and make sure that they have everything that they need to keep going. Because after your accelerator, like don't stop and be a Series A company. Go be a Series B. Go be a Series D, and I want to see you be an enterprise.
Mm. That's good. Are you able to say like out of cohort one and cohort two, like what has the success rate been in really scaling from that point, going from somebody with your program to long term?
So I wasn't there during cohort one or two, but just a little bit of going into cohort three and then building next gen partnered with Harvard. I want to continue to make sure that we have a pipeline. So, like I said, there's Next Cube, but there's also Black Ambition. And then you have Hustle Fund, who also pours into underrepresented founders. And then you have Black Girl Ventures. Then you have other nuances like Baddies in Tech. Right now, I don't know if anybody is familiar with Ali Joy. Shout out to her. She is the founder of Baddies in Tech, but she has a conference called BaddieCon that's introducing women of color to their startup segment now. So I'm currently helping them building out their entrepreneur segment, but just learning how to run your businesses on the tech end because this is the times that we're in. I think some people don't want to accept it, but there's so much technology and we need to become more familiar with SaaS. And Gen AI on the beautiful side of it is it can help us because we learn all of these different areas to help us as far as where do we go for finances or who do we need to talk to. But our biggest thing that we need to do to move forward is build these VCs and more African Americans and Black people. We need to be in those spaces.
Mm.
I would love to see a lot of people and women of color in, oh, yes, SaaS, software as a service, yes. But I would love to see more women of color in the VC world and angel investors because we're the ones who are really going to pour into one another and give ourselves a chance.
Mm. That's good. So you're actually working with Baddies in Tech and Hustle Fund and stuff like that. So they're not your competition. They're like y'all
No.
working together. Okay, I
No.
love that.
So, there are some VCs who look at each other as competitions, but for example, Black Girl Ventures, they have a cohort coming out. If there's individuals who applied because we had 700 plus applications that came in to be a part of cohort three, um, if they don't get into this cohort, I'm going to advise them to the next VC who is taking underrepresented founders who want to pour into them.
I like that.
We have to keep the wheels turning. Even Techstars, JP Morgan, like they have so many resources that serve underrepresented founders. So we want to make sure that just because their time is delayed with us, they're not denied with anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm only bringing it up because I think at the core of a lot of things, there's passion, but there's money. And when it's avenues to make a lot of money, people want to be there. And sometimes it crushes one another when your enemy is somebody else in the Black community and y'all working against each other. But to hear you say, "Oh no, we want other funds, to have this, so it's not all about us." That's great. Do you see the question there that Jerry's asking? Or
Yes.
some before Jerry.
So I see it says, what are my thoughts? Can we go a little deeper with that? Are you asking like what are my thoughts about their success or yes. So I think it's phenomenal, honestly. I feel like the individual who founded Calendly, they kind of got a hot spot. And just being a Black founder and just the revamping and something that a lot of founders do that, yes, the unicorn, yes, a lot of founders do is sometimes it's just they got in at the right time. Like Calendly, people, we have Google Calendar, we have all of these different nuances, and it makes it so much easier for us when it comes to corporations, or if we don't have the time, we're just like, throw something on my calendar. So something is user friendly, is significant as far as being in there and the founder of Calendly, they're so open with their knowledge of being a startup. They're like, hey, this is what I did. A lot of it was right time. Even today, I don't know who's the founder of Zoom, but one of my DMs, he's like, God, if I knew Zoom was going to be the way it was with the way it is today, I wish I would have invested in it before COVID. It's just kind of one of those things where things happen in the world and there's just a boom,
Hmm.
like
That's
with Uber
what
and
I don't know
Calendly.
what movie it. What is he talking about? Movie Pass there. I don't know about that.
Now I'm not familiar with MoviePass or Kit.com yet. But yes, I also use Calendly daily.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
But
amazing
yeah,
to me.
but exactly, we need more awareness of our great success, and this is why it's so important. I feel like you have newsletters like Blavity, and there's so many different newsletters. There's Black Ambition, but we need one centralized resource to just say like, I want to go to this website and find all of the VCs that cater to Black founders, underrepresented founders. Where are the events where I can expose my business? Where are the angel investors? Where are the funds? Where are all of these? And where are the success stories? And how can I talk to these founders or someone on their team to ask, what did they do? What are the do's and don'ts of creating a unicorn? Because I bet if you sit down and talk to them, they'll tell you how many failing forward moments they had than success when it comes to building a unicorn.
That's good. Brittany brought one in here. You mentioned healthcare and areas specifically should be targeted to attract funders.
Yes, so digital health is very important. I love talking to founders who diversify themselves in the digital health era. And when I mean as far as a SaaS product, like so an app, I know a lot of, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Bear Health, but they have an app that does a health score, and they align their app with their primary doctors. So it just, if you go for a run, or if you put in that you didn't eat healthy that day, or maybe if you have like a weekend on vacation and you put like, I'm going on vacation, I'm going to be drinking all this, you know how we get for an all inclusive. So it will measure your health scores to make sure you're attaining. And because credit score is so important to us, it's like, why not we have a health score app? So that's a SaaS product as far as digital health. And then there's also another founder, her name's Alana. She has Dr. Flow, which she created an app that basically helps you go ahead and put a ton of your information in before you go to your doctor. Because we know when we go to the doctor, we already told the person on the phone who's the receptionist what's going on. We already told the nurse what's going on. And now the doctor comes in and they still asking, well, what's going on today? But she created an app that already consolidates all of the questions and needs. So when they go to the doctor, they can minimize time, and it's user friendly for the doctors and the patient. So that's more of like what we think of digital health in some examples.
Was that a black owner that did that?
Both of them are Black owned, yes.
Nice, nice.
Hmm.
Okay. Somebody, Jerry, you want to say really quick what kit.com is? And also, there is no such resource. I'm not sure what you're talking
Yes,
about.
so that is correct. There is not a resource or a landing, what do we like to call it, digital real estate page yet that has where can we find VCs, angel investors, syndicates,
I'm gonna do.
um, private equity firms, just all of the big important capital nuances that we need. Like there needs to be a landing page. As much as we love LinkedIn, in my opinion, it's still very hard because you can message them, but now I've noticed it's so hard to message someone and say, "Hey, can I talk to you?" Unless you don't have like premium. It just needs to be something that is very accessible for individuals to talk to these people because it's all there. It's just understanding investment thesis, your target, your market, and making sure that you're going to these VCs and incubators, business and VC backed ready. That's why it's significant to go for non-dilutive capital to build your business and your customers to build your revenue. And then when you feel like, okay, we're at a state where we can have some angel investors in here who continue to diversify and help us continue to monetize. Do we have more questions in here?
Let's
Trying
see.
to start a school as a demonstration program equipped.
And y'all, if there's somebody who wants to raise a hand, we can do that. We got a few
Yeah.
more.
If somebody wants to hop on and
Yep.
we have awareness. We have
That
awareness.
is, who is that who opened up? Mike.
Hey,
There you go. That's Jerry. Good to see you, Jerry.
hey, how you doing? Yeah, this is a conversation I have with a few folks. I noticed this within the tech space, particularly within our community, it's kind of only limited to certain people, like for are techies, nerds, or professionals. I don't see anything like say like we don't have a CNET, just basically for consumers to be brought up on what's the new technology app, whatever. Did a regular person could basically to have awareness and how to use it. We have nothing like that in the current space right now, and I think that would be helpful to just bring awareness to some of the things we're doing in our community, some of our success stories and products that folks could actually support.
Right. No, I agree 100%. I just seen a statement where it says angel investors are inaccessible for a reason. And Kara, yes, if you would like to hop on and say something. So now that I can consider myself an angel investor, I do not want someone to feel like I'm inaccessible. Like, who am I? Right? Who are these angel investors? The only thing that separates individuals from them being inaccessible is if it matches their investment thesis,
Mhm.
right? There are angels who only invest in fintech, or they might only invest in health tech, or there's some product tech, but
Yeah.
and then there's some who just anything ad hoc, right? Anything that's problem solving. Um, and I hate that they make it difficult, but that we have that outlook. But the only reason it seems inaccessible to us is because our peers have peers who are angels. And what we need to do in our community is become angels and become more advanced and knowledgeable when it comes to attaining capital and how to break into VC, how to break into building our own VC firms, because all of these grants and all of these grants go to a lot of VCs. I know my VC, we're backed by Bank of America and Costco. Those are big corporations. And that's what it is about building these VCs, because a lot of big corporations want to be a part of impact. Again, that goes with an investment thesis because we're serving underrepresented founders. But yes,
And real
Kara.
quick, oh no, go ahead, Karen, you go.
Oh, I was going to ask, so what is the
Uh,
best way? Can you hear me?
yeah,
Yes.
Barbara, we got.
Okay.
Oh,
So what is the best way to connect with an angel investor then? Like, what is the best way to get in front of or pitch your business to an angel investor? Because I've tried myself many a time to Google search. I mean, I've gotten, different options and lists and things, and it's gone nowhere. So, what is the best approach when it comes to, when you're at that stage and you want to get in touch with an angel investor, how is the best way to reach one?
Yes. So I know one thing angels really do enjoy as far as just the privacy is making sure that they're being introduced. Someone there's so many ventures trying to get into a ton of angels, you know, perimeter. And it's like, okay, what is trusted? Because you don't want to deal with a venture that makes no sense to your thesis. So it's really understanding who the angel is and what they actually invest in. 9 times out of 10, you probably reached out to angels who they probably think your venture is phenomenal, but they're like, this doesn't match my thesis, who I might have an equity contract with when it comes to how I receive my money on my end when it comes to my carry, right? But joining an incubator and accelerator in the beginning is so amazing because you end up building that network, you get the advisory, and then me, I'm always ready to look out for my next venture of like, I'm ready to put you in front of an angel because I know you're ready. But sometimes it's the readiness. It's like, is this a series A or a series B angel? There's a lot of angels who are different because we think of evaluation caps and they want to make sure that their percentage is going to make them money as well. Because angels, they put work into you. They're not just handing you the money. And any angel who just hands you money and with no advisement, run. There needs to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
people need to care about where their money is going and they need to help you.
Right.
Their network needs to be your network.
And is there any way to, oh, so sorry, I just want to add one last thing. I didn't even know that they're angel investors thesis, or I guess you're talking about angel investors that have a specific niche that they like to invest in.
Yes.
So my question is like, how would I know that up front? Like, because like you said, they're obscure, they kind of like their privacy, they don't want to be hassled for ventures that are not lined up with theirs or their purpose. So how do you know that? Like, how do you know what their thing is?
Yes. And that's what goes into the networking piece and getting close. Everything is about trust when it comes to the angel because we're thinking about people's personal money. When it comes to a VC, it's a little bit more risk taking, but angels, they're like, I'm not only putting my personal money, but I'm putting my personal time. So the network, and that's why it's very vital and important to build those relationships and trusted relationships that help identify the different angels. Because one, you don't want to get matched to an angel that try to take so much, again, of the percentage of your company. You want as much ownership as possible, but you want these deals and these terms to align with you as well.
Barbara, did you have your hand up?
I hope that
Yeah, I
answers the
have. Yeah,
question.
I wanted to ask a question. I'm chaplain for a national group that I call Black Women for Positive Change, and we want to build a school as a demonstration project that focuses on ethics as well as tech skills. And we have an engineer that's designed the model, and we know what it looks like, but we don't seem to know where to go with it. We feel like if we can get a school like that started, maybe, eventually one day it'll be a national schools like ethic focused, technical skilled things. You want to have kids have to have a dream, and what is a bigger dream than to be with AI, which is going to change everything. We don't want them, dealing in violence. And we feel like if we can make more opportunities, maybe we can decrease the violence. Where would we go?
Right. So I actually just found a page that talks about, I'm going to drop this link. And I feel like this is a great source to start because, like, again, we all need funding, but
Barbara,
also,
look at the chat too. Some people want to
yeah,
help you.
yeah, but the community development financial institutional funding applications, all of that, grants. I actually know some people. Feel free to message me on LinkedIn. I have some connections that I'm happy to make some alignment with. Dr. Joy,
Thank you.
of course.
Yes, yes. Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. And I think, Barbara, your comment was perfect for what I wanted to share with the group. And I'm not sure if the presenter who's so knowledgeable shared this already, but there is an angel investor group who is affiliated with a grant called the VILA Education Fund, VELA Education. And they're specifically interested in funding anything that's gonna uplift youth, anything that's going to benefit education as a whole. They definitely are also interested in improving educational outcomes for racial minorities, individuals with neurodivergences or neurodiversity as well. So I just wanted to share that I am affiliated with Viva, and basically the way they work is you apply for the grant, and just like the presenter said, they work with you to improve and hone your business or your startup. The grant is modest. It's, I believe, $5,000, but they give you so much regular support. It seems like weekly support from various people who are very successful in educational entrepreneurship. And in addition to that, once you quote unquote, please excuse me, I'm driving. What is it? No shade or no commentary. I'm trying to be safe, y'all.
Yeah, be safe.
Be safe.
Yes, I'm being safe. But basically, they also, after you graduate, within a 6-month period, that's where the angel investors come in, where if your startup is strong and good, individuals with far more than $5,000 will come and invest in you. So I just wanted to share that as a resource. So thank you.
Did
Thank
you,
you,
somebody
Dr.
put in the
Doyle.
chat VELA? That's not correct, or is it?
Is
Yes, VILA, VELA education. It should pop up if you
It
just
does,
simply
yeah.
Google.
Catalyzing a vibrant alternative education system.
that's V
Right.
VELA.
Yeah.
Yeah, V
Village
as in victory, V as in victory, and specifically they're interested in education. So if you're doing anything else, they're not interested. They are all about
That's what we're into.
empowering educators and students, empowering students. So
Thank you.
And also Zaria put her link down here. Cohort 3 applications are closed, but still open for cohort 4, which starts when, Zaria?
in January. Yes, so it's a little down the line, but like I said, still happy to share resources with anyone with other different cohorts and other VCs. And I also wanted to put another link in here. If anybody is in the DC area, the US, and that's another thing. I actually just told the Select USA Summit team, I'm like, do you know how many people do not do? And I was trying to be like, do you know how many people who look like me do not know that the United States has basically these huge investment summits where there's a ton of investors. They host it every year. I just put the link in there, but it's called Select USA. Their summit is from June 23rd through the 26th, and I'm actually speaking on the panel at the
Nice.
Gate Floor about incubators and accelerators. But guess who's the only Black woman on the panel, you all?
Oh, wow. That's nice. But wait, wow, but dang, y'all. Come on.
But right. And now it's kind of like, why? We need more people who look like us because
Sorry, we didn't know that. I bet most people in this room has never heard of Select USA Summit.
when they reached out to me, I'm like, you all are the government's investment summit. Why do the others not know about this? Right?
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have a seat at the table. And if anybody else is familiar with Congressional Black Caucus Week, I'm currently working on a big event called Startup Connect. And I really hope you all continue to stay in touch. I would love to have you all there. If you have a business, if you have people you want to connect with. Right now we're still,
DC.
Yes, in DC.
DC.
And it's in September. It's either going to be on the 9th or the 10th. We're still working it out. But again, the only way we're going to exceed in these spaces is if we create them and put ourselves there and putting our, I mean, basically building our own seat and also being a part of other people's table because we know it's there. It's just creating a pipeline and a resource center to get it.
That's so good that you're there. It's good, but we get, I mean, really one person. So, but still, I'm glad you're the one that's there.
Yes, so I know we have 4 minutes left.
Yep.
I'm going to drop my LinkedIn here again. You all, please do not be afraid to reach out. I love hopping on meetings. You can ask Stefan.
No, it
I
doesn't get any
we can
better.
talk all day. I am very personable. I'm happy to answer any questions, make any introductions. If I don't even know somebody that you might need to know, I'll find somebody that you need to know. Or
Zaria's brain
know,
is a machine. Her brain is a machine, and you keep information. Oh, I can connect her to her and him to him. Y'all just know my whole life, I haven't met anybody who's made this many real, legitimate connections that make so much sense. So everyone that she's done has been a winner for me.
And also, Zaria, is there a link to the last conference that you mentioned? Is that with the um I forget, not Congressional Black Caucus. What
the
was the
investment summit.
y-
Yes,
well, the last one that you just mentioned that you'll be on a panel for?
this one. I just put
Oh,
it
is
in
that it? Okay.
just
Okay.
Select USA.
Thank
Yep.
you.
And I'm going to actually, I'll put the exact page for you real quickly. If you go to the agenda highlights, and I'm on the how to join an incubator accelerator. So I'll put that in there.
While you're thinking, Zaria, who
The one
connected?
for DC, that's I think the one I was talking
Yep.
about.
I just put it
That's
in
it?
for you.
Oh, okay.
Zaria, real quick, was it Antoine who connected me to you?
No, it was Howard.
Howard, okay. Y'all heard Howard the other day. Howard is he gets stuff done. So know that also he connects extremely well. But that's it. Somebody connected me with Howard. Howard connected me with you. You connected me with several people, some of them who are speaking in this conference this week. Anybody want
Hopefully, we'll have Zaria speaking on Friday at Mines at 1 o'clock, in which we'll be talking about HBCUs and AI and funding and closing the wealth gap and generational wealth. Right, Zaria? You'll be with us on Friday?
I'll be in there.
Okay.
Man.
that's good stuff. Okay, we're gonna need to stop it there. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording here. Let me do this and just say Zari, first of all, thank you for being here. Unbelievable content. Once again, this entire event all week has just been great. You packed a lot into 58 minutes. All of those contacts that are there and links that are there. I'm gonna leave the room open for a little bit, but and I see a few people are just coming in. Zaria, thank you so much. I know you got other stuff to go to tonight, so can everybody give a big hand to her, emoji, whatever you want to throw up.
Thank you all
But
so much.
yeah,
Thank you for letting me, talk to you all. And like I said, we're all resources. I can only imagine everyone in this room and what you all have to offer as far as just leaning on one another. And like me, I'm not transactional. I am very personable and I love to engage. So please reach out to me. I would love to talk to each and every one of you. And let's just keep building, please. And thank you.
you inspire. You young. I told you, you probably younger than my youngest daughter, my oldest daughter. So do your thing. It's beautiful to see. Keep doing your thing. All right. So with that, I'll stop the recording, but I'm gonna leave the room open. Sorry, thank you so much.
Of course,
And
yeah, have a good one.
y'all that are gonna hang around a little bit, I'll leave the room so you can get all the stuff that's in the chat. So recording is stopped there. Thank you, sorry. All right, everybody that's here, I'm gonna leave stuff open. Man, was that a lot of information? Maya, are you still in here? Yeah. Was
That
that a
was
lot?
amazing. Here, good
Yeah,
job.
it's just, yeah,
Yeah, amazing.
but think about it over and over. It keeps happening. Natalie and the one before, there's so many, I'm forgetting what was earlier today. Um, but just everybody's coming with an angle that is unique and offering a lot in less than an hour. Um, yeah, so
The whole week, and it's only Wednesday.
It's only Wednesday, y'all. We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday still to go. But that one, when she mentioned she's going to be at that summit, there it is. I have never heard of a select USA summit, and to know they're doing stuff over there. And I'm gonna tell y'all something really quick. So stay with me on this. We still got 33 people in here. So um, we need to be calling on conferences like that to just say, you can't have this. I mean, it's not right. The only reason we have to have black stuff like this is because we're getting shut out of that, or maybe one Zaria is going there. So one of the, I told you I went to Gamma, and some great things happened by just saying, yo, you got to change this. And I'm a nice guy in doing it. And Maya's heard me before, but sometimes, listen, if y'all not going to do it, we have an army that we're going to bring, and you won't want us to abandon what you're doing and use our social media and shut it down. So we have the power to do that. And I don't even want to think that way. I keep I need to change. So let me just throw this out there. Besides Gamma, who turned around is now sponsoring this, and yeah, I'm wearing a little shirt. They sent me one of these guest thing. I don't know, it's got a water bottle in there and some other stuff. It just came in today. Now, another company they call Mixo.io. I was having issues with the photos that they were putting out. It's just not right. It makes us have to work too much. We have prompters in here, and y'all are saying we got to get the prompt right because their default is not us. So we got to work for, oh man, that's still not good. Oh, we got to be more descriptive. Whereas if you were white, you just put it in, I got my stuff first try. So that's what's happening. I went to the founder and CEO of Mixo. His name is Adam. And I said, we can't do this. I mean, every time I'm putting something in your site, you saying I can build a 1 minute site, but it's taking me 30 minutes because you're giving images that I can't use. Imagine that, for another person, oh man, my website looks good. And for me, it's
Check out the chat real quick, please.
I never been to a conference like this.
No, the
You're,
bottom.
yeah.